Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Troy Clayton, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Warrant Officer Stuart Strachan. We warmly welcome the family of Private Arthur Hunt in attendance and those that are watching the live stream of this ceremony. His story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Return and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Club Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Thank you. If you're able, you may be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private Arthur Hunt. Arthur Hunt was born in Melbourne in around September 1898. He was the son of Isabel Hunt and an unknown man. Arthur was raised by his widowed grandmother, Afra, for his entire life and believed that she was his mother. Arthur and Afra remained in Melbourne through his childhood, though they frequently moved between suburbs. Arthur completed his schooling at Eastern Road State School in South Melbourne, where he was an active member of the Cadets. He then went on to become a plumbing improver, and upon turning 18, he joined the 59th Infantry in Coburg. Arthur enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 24th of February 1917, having received signed consent from Afra. Initially based at Royal Park, he was sent to the machine gun depot in April before joining the 12th Reinforcements of the 14th Machine Gun Company in May with the rank of private. The company would be equipped with 16 Vickers .303 caliber water-cooled heavy machine guns, each with a crew of 3 men. Private Arthur Hunt departed Melbourne in HMAT Soevic on the 21st of June 1917, bound for England. Arthur arrived in Liverpool in late August 1917 and travelled south to join the 15th Training Battalion at Hercote. After only a few weeks, he was transferred to the reinforcements for the 57th Infantry Battalion. Arthur continued to train for service on the Western Front in England until mid-December 1917. He proceeded overseas to France on the 18th of December, and after a week at the Australian Infantry Base Depot in Havre, was taken on strength of the 57th Battalion in the field on Christmas Day. Arthur was assigned to A Company of the battalion and passed his first bitter winter on the Western Front without much excitement. In March 1918, the German army launched their spring offensive, and the 57th Battalion moved with the rest of the 5th Division to defend the area of the front around Corby in the Somme. Over the next few months, the battalion was involved in fighting across the Somme, including at Villers-Bretonneux on 25th of April. Gradually, the Allied forces managed to stop the German offensive and slowly turn the tide against the German army. By early August, the Allies were preparing to launch their own offensive around Amiens in the Somme. It would prove to be the last major offensive of the First World War. While the 57th Battalion prepared for its role in the upcoming offensive, Arthur was temporarily attached to the 14th Field Engineers to assist in a stunt outside Villers-Bretonneux on the 8th of August. During the stunt, Arthur was one of 6 men inside a tank approaching the objective, the only Australian amongst a group of British soldiers. As they were approaching their objective outside Villers-Bretonneux, Arthur's tank was directly hit by a shell from an anti-tank gun. All the men inside were killed instantly. Arthur Hunt was 19 years old. Arthur's body was removed from the wreckage, and along with the other men who had been killed, he was buried in Villers-Bretonneux in a gully at the bottom of a nearby railway embankment. Although the grave had been marked with a wooden cross, attempts to locate it after the war were fruitless. Arthur's final resting place remains undiscovered. He is commemorated on the Australian Memorial at Villers-Bretonneux among the names of over 10,000 Australians who were killed during the First World War and have no known grave. His name is also listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. A photograph of his name, listed in the Villers-Bretonneux Memorial, is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Arthur Hunt, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We'll remember them.
Lest we forget.
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub of Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.